Next question tonight is talking about how you sell your services from the standpoint, do you break things down into a la carte where people can check of what they want, or do you have packages, pre-established packages of what you're going to be offering? This is something that personally I've gone back and forth on this, and I'm really kind of interested to hear how Dan and Cubby, how you guys handle this. So Dan, what are you doing these days? And I want to add what you're doing and why, because the why can be the interesting part.
So I used to do packages. I had my 3 packages and everything else. And I never really seemed to have a lot of success with the package selling. I would have couples who would be interested in parts and not really the whole package, or a little bit of this package, a little bit. And so I was always constantly trying to change it up to match with what I was getting that interest from. So I have now switched to basically a baseline, which is reception or reception ceremony. And then everything else is a la carte. Now I'll give, discounts if they buy multiple a la carte items, almost like a mini package. But what I found as a result, because I wasn't a full production company, so I didn't have, 8,000 things to try and throw at them. So making multiple packages also kind of got confusing. So I went back to a la carte because one, I just found what they were buying. It was much easier. What do you want? Let's make that happen. As well as just not having a ton of options. It was simpler for me to just get rid of the package thought.
Interesting. Cubby, what's your thoughts on this?
I've got 2 packages. I got the couple that's getting married, got a church and coming to a reception, and I got an all-inclusive ceremony and reception package. All my other uplights, audio guest book, photo book, those are all add-ons. Officiating, those are all add-ons. But when I talk to a bride, I say, this is what we got. We have unlimited hours up to 7 hours. I hope none of my brides are watching. So,
yes, they watch our show. This is a big, big night. They're like, hey, everybody, quick.
My DJs don't have the DJN news. So my 2 packages are unlimited hours up to 7. And it encompasses ceremony style, includes lapel mic, handheld mic if you need it, just basically what you need for reception.
Yeah.
And then I got my one for the bride and groom. And I explained to him, I was like, the reason we do this is like McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you can buy value meal number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can a la carte it. It's going to be more expensive to be a la carte it. So then I raised my 5-hour price so that I'm making more on my reception only package. Maybe we talked a couple weeks ago, Dan was like, I feel always got cheated because I was doing all these other packages, but I wasn't making much on my 5 hours. So I raised my 5 hour. So it looks like a no-brainer when they're getting married at a church to take my unlimited package.
Sure.
And they love it. I'm like, look, we're fully transparent. This is everything you need out the door. No questions asked. No financial surprises at the end. As if because you're going to have some financial surprises. It could be the alcohol, the florist, the caterer.
Oh, yeah.
It could be any of those. With ours, you know what it is. We're not going to meet with you. You go, oh, by the way, you need an extra hour. And I wasn't banking on that extra hour or whatever. So it seems to close for me. But yeah, I'm not a production company either, but I do have a few add-ons, uplights, officiating, audio guest book, photo book, but I've never put those into a package, like $3,000 package. I focus solely mainly on DJing, and then everything else is just an add-on.
The one thing that I would caution anybody getting into, the one thing that I feel is kind of a potential trap for yourself, is to break down the a la carte to a la carte within the a la carte. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm going to do uplighting, so I'm going to charge you by the uplight. Or I'm going to do photo booth, so I'm going to charge you by every little thing within the photo booth. Now, whether you break it down in your head and that's how you come up with your price, that's a different story. But I wouldn't necessarily put it out there for the couple. So when they get my a la carte and they decide that they want to do uplighting, it's for the room, and it's what it takes me to make that look the way that it should look. So if I need 10 or if I need 20, that's what I need to do the job. So I base it upon the job and the service, not the pieces within the service. Just because I feel it gets too nitpicky or too nickel and dimey if I do it otherwise.
With my uplights, they're $30 a head. You decide how many you want. You just want 5 for the backdrop, or do you want to cover the whole room? So I don't know. I get what you're saying, and like I said, but I just do it's $30 a head. You tell me what you want. There you go. And I don't know. I don't. What we do. Everybody does stuff different.
Yeah, absolutely. John?
So my variation of this is I've done packages. I've done A-La-Carte, where it was full checklist. Then I could go through and check things. I've done 3 packages. I've done 5 packages, whatever. I've taken the approach recently of a kind of combining the two, and it's similar to probably what Cubby is talking about with having the upsell or the additions that they can add to it. But I've kind of looked at it as like a Tuesday night burger night at the local bar. You can go in there and it's burger night. Yay! And you go, I'll have a burger. And they're like, yes. And would you like anything on that? And it's like, well, what's included? Well, it's a burger and a bun and a pickle. That's it. Well, I would kind of like, cheese on. Well, that's great. That'll be $1. Oh, okay. Well, I kind of like bacon. I don't like making bacon at home because it stinks up the house. Can I get a bacon cheeseburger? Oh, yes, that'll be another $2. Oh, okay. Well, if I'm really splurging this much, I might as well get an egg on top of that because that is awesome. And they're like, yes, I can do that. And that'll be, and then, I need it to be healthy. How about some lettuce and tomato on that? Because that'll make it healthier. And they'll be, yes, sir. And that'll be another $2. So I all of a sudden have a $15 to $20 cheeseburger coming at me, from the $2 hamburger night at the local bar. Following a similar concept where basically the package is dependent upon time, really, and lighting, as far as sound and the sound and lighting side of it, and then having some additional things that are available. And it's been interesting here so far with the booking season, is that I have 20 different additions. Fez went through and just anything. It's like, oh, wait, if I'm going to point my microphones to the east, I can charge extra for that, and that kind of a thing. So I had just every little thing that we've done over the last number of years has got a price point to it. And it's as people have gone through, they're like, yeah, hey, I want it. I want that. Somebody else obviously did at one time, but I didn't think it would be something that anyone would ever take. So that's why it had never been on my sheets until now. And it's, I just, today I had a close to a $4,000 package or a proposal that went out, and it started out as a $2,000, hamburger that worked its way up to nearly $4,000. So it's been, yeah, Brian, I figured you'd kind of like that. This is how I could write off that cheeseburger we had when we were in, Wisconsin together that last time. But it seems to work. And maybe it won't work in a year and a half. I think a lot of it depends on how the economy goes and how people are viewing making purchases. I think that has a lot to do with it. And it might also be dependent upon my ability to be comfortable selling it and to be able to talk excitedly about it. If it's something that I'm getting to the point where I'm burned out selling like that, maybe then I won't be pushing it or showing that excitement for it, and people will be like, oh, that doesn't sound as good. But then I can be excited next year, 2 years when I go, it's an all-inclusive package, everything you've ever wanted, and they'll be like, hey, there's this guy down in Iowa that sells an all-inclusive package too. But he's much prettier than you, so we're going to go with him.
I don't know about that. Mine is, here's everything you need for your reception ceremony, right? And then everything else, I let them work themselves up to the audio guest book, the phone, rather than storing it all. Because not every bride wants an audio guest book, and they may not want a photo booth, or it might be conducive to have uplights at their venue, or whatever. So I don't want to throw it in unless they want it. So here's everything you need for your reception, out the door, no questions asked.
Yep. And then if you want to do some other things, hey, here they are. And
they work themselves up, but then it's easy. Sometimes it's easy to add on.
Really is kind of a definite enhancer. And it also shows for the people who are like, yeah, no, I'm good for today. And then all of a sudden they come back 6 months later and say, we decided that we want, X, Y, and Z. Well, you saw my sheets what X, Y, and Z costs, and we do have it, and we can get you hooked up. Nice. All right, I think we're ready for our next question here. Let's jump to that.